So what does this mean for the relationship between the US and the United Kingdom? This could be something which could come back to literally bite Boris on the proverbial.
Well, I think the U.S. has made it very clear that their disappointment is with the British government for allowing the Gibraltar Supreme Court to release the Grace 1, as you said, is now being renamed. And as you said, Manus, the officials were saying that the U.K. needs to think of this in a broader context. What does this mean as Boris Johnson tries to negotiate a leave with the European Union and a free trade agreement with the U.S.? Could this have any implications for that? Now, these officials didn't say this specific incident would mean that there wouldn't be a free trade agreement, but they did say, does the UK want to do business with the United States, or do they want to do business with Iran?
Yep, well, therein lies the point. I mean, you don't get a free trade deal for nothing. That's sort of got to be said. Look, can you tell me actually what happens with this vessel now? It's departed, it's renamed. What's the function that you're tracking this on?
Yeah, so check out the BMAP function on the terminal. If you still type in Grace 1, you can see it's actually off. It's in international waters. It's off of Gibraltar, and it's heading to what we know now to Greece, off the waters of Kamalata. Now, it remains to be seen what will happen with this vessel, but two vessel brokers were saying that what could happen is that we have a ship-to-ship cargo transfer in international waters off of that port in Greece. But you have to imagine this is something that the United States is going to be tracking, because we do know that on that vessel is more than 2 million barrels of Iranian crude, Manus.
Yep, and I'm on BMAP as we speak. It is literally, it's like a disco, Annmarie. Geopolitical front. We touched on this a little bit yesterday with our editor here in the Middle East. We had some drone attacks into Saudi Arabia. That hit an oil field. What I'd like you to do is put that in context, because I was really quite astounded. This is one of Saudi Aramco's holdings. So politically and from an oil point of view, what does it mean?
Yeah, they call it the most remote treasure in the world. That's what the Saudi Aramco calls this. You know, it was a small drone attack and a small fire, Aramco said, and that it wasn't able to hit production. But Khaled Al-Faleh called it a terrorist attack. So I think what it really does is it's just going to heighten the already tense relationship we're already seeing happening in the Persian Gulf. And what everyone is talking about is this escalation, not either side, whether it's the U.S. and the Saudis or the Iranians want a war, but it's this any sort of escalation, of miscalculation of an event happening, a crisis happening that could lead to something more, difficult to manage than many had expected. So I think this just adds a bit of risk premium. We did see oil bounce a little bit on this. I think still the oil, though, the picture is certainly looking at the demand side of the story, waiting for a China trade deal, looking at what's going on around the world in terms of GDP growth and, the U.S. bond market flashing recession. But this definitely adds a bit of risk to the market.